briefing that has been organized by the Rotary Club of Kitgum, specifically in relationship to an activity that is going to be held tomorrow countrywide. It is the annual cancer run, which is organized by Rotary. The Rotary Club of Kitgum is one of the more than 46,000 Rotary clubs in the world. Rotary is a global movement. It's a global humanitarian movement that seeks to bring services to community through the creation of goodwill and peace. Rotary Club of Kitgum has more than 20 members. We conduct our weekly meeting, which is called Fellowship at Boma here. We are very grateful that Boma Hotel is hosting us today for this press briefing. We are going to speak briefly about the cancer run tomorrow, but also about cancer, because that is one of the problems that the Rotary Club has targeted, that they should come and intervene and assist community. At this press briefing, my name is Otto Venturino. I'm the secretary of the Rotary Club of Kitgum. Next to me, I will introduce them, is Dr. Emmanuel Ogwal. Dr. Emmanuel Ogwal comes from St. Joseph's Hospital in Kitgum here. Next to him is Mr. Rotarian Peter Abola, is our vice president of the Rotary Club of Kitgum. And next to him, at the extreme right, is Brian. Brian is the president of the Rotaract Club of Kitgum. Rotaractors are younger Rotarians, and they also play similar role with Rotary, but mostly their members are younger than us. And on my immediate left is Rotarian Dr. Ogiki. He's a member of the Rotary Club of Kitgum, and he is directly in charge of tomorrow's cancer run here in Kitgum. People must be aware that the main cancer run tomorrow is going to be flagged off by the governor of Rotary International, the president. And he's physically present in Kampala. And as they flag off the cancer run at Kololo, we shall also be flagging off our cancer run here in Kitgum. All these cancer runs all over the country are contributing to one cause, which my colleague Rotarian Peter is going to explain later on. So without wasting much time, I would want to give this opportunity to Dr. Emmanuel Ogwal, who has kindly accepted to come and be with us. And coincidentally, although we had called him here as a medical professional, we are very excited to tell you that Dr. Emmanuel is a Rotaractor from a club back in Mulago. So we are really privileged, we are really very grateful, and we really thank St. Joseph's Hospital for this opportunity. Dr. Emmanuel, you are welcome.
Yes, thank you very much, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Emmanuel Ogwal, and I'm the medical doctor at St. Joseph. I'm profoundly excited and happy to be here this afternoon and to be part of Rotary International as a whole. Cancer, as we know it, is a disease that has affected many lives. And many people keep asking themselves every day, what is cancer? So in simple terms, how I can put it is, you know, our human body is made up of what they call cells. So when you have normal body cells that are growing in a dysregulated manner or in an abnormal manner without regulation, you form what is known as cancer. Now, generally speaking, in Uganda, cancer has been of increasing burden. And before, in 2005, there is what they call the Health Sector Strategic Development Plan that was developed to target non-communicable diseases, among which cancer is one of the top priorities that this plan was aimed at targeting. So the reason this happened was because as of 2018, of the data we have, the Uganda Cancer Institute reported literally 32,000 new cases of cancer within the country. And when we say 32,000 new cases, it means we are not considering the old cases that existed. And of the 32,000, we reported about over 21,000 deaths. So people who died in relation to cancer were over 21,000, which is quite a big burden. Now, if you continue to look through and analyze critically, it shows you that cancer is actually something that requires our attention. It requires us to pay more focus to. And notably, there are very many types of cancers. There are over 200 forms of cancer that you can have. Technically speaking, any body cell in the body can become cancerous because all body cells are subjected to what they call growth. In order for you to grow from a child from a baby to a child to an adult, the cells have to grow. But the way they grow is always controlled. So if at all they are not controlled, then they can easily become what? Cancerous. So there are several forms of cancers like I mentioned, and most commonly within Uganda, the prevalences that are increasing on a day-to-day basis, we have cervical cancer affecting mainly women. We have cancer of the breast cancer. We have ovarian cancer. And most significantly in male and adult male, we have prostate cancer. But, however, we also have other forms of cancer that are frequently occurring, especially in patients who are living with HIV/AIDS. And this form of cancer is what we call Kaposi sarcoma. And it normally affects the tissues of the body. But we also have in children what they call the Burkitt's lymphoma. It's also a specific form of cancer that is growingly affecting children. And surprisingly, this form of cancer was actually first discovered in Uganda. And I'm so happy that our sister hospital to St. Joseph, that is Lacho Hospital, has actually a cancer program that is targeting these children in the different categories. So you notice that, yes, cancer is within us. Cancer is actually affecting different people in the community. So you ask yourself, what is this that causes cancer? So unlike diseases like HIV, where we know that it is caused by the HIV virus, cancer is caused by multiple factors. These factors are what we call risk factors. So risk factors, in simple terms, are things that predispose you to a particular condition. So cancer has several risk factors. In order for you to develop cancer, you must have all these risk factors working in conjunction to actually cause you to develop the cancer. And maybe if I'm to list a few of them, one of which includes genetics. Genetics, when I talk of genetics, I mean the DNA. So each of us has a specific signature, which is called the DNA. DNA is what identifies you and characterizes you to become the human being you are. So there are certain cancers that are genetically carried. So if you have that gene, you're predisposed to having that form of cancer. In other words, that gene acts as a risk factor towards that cancer. Other things that actually cause us to find out that people have cancer, which are also risk factors, include history of cancer. If you've had a previous history of cancer that has been treated before, there is a high chance that you can actually regress and develop further progression of that cancer. Other things involve age. You know, our bodies keep growing each and every day. So with age, there are certain changes that occur. You can't be as fit as you are when you are young as when you are at around 80, 90. So because also the body responds differently with age, some of these changes are quite hard to revert. And it makes these cells grow in a way that they are uncontrollable, and later on you find yourself developing cancer. Within our community here as Kitgum, as Uganda, other factors that actually predispose us to cancer involve things like early sexual exposure, especially for the youth, because if you look at things like cervical cancer, we know that the risk factors are mainly a virus known as HPV, and it is mainly transmitted through sexual intercourse. And that's why the government came up to introduce the HPV immunization to girls who are around the age of 8, 9 years, because the assumption is by then they wouldn't have possibly had sexual intercourse, and so it would improve on their ability to fight against the cancer. Other things involve, of course, multiple sexual partners, things like tobacco use, which is actually a very significant, actually, if you go and do some research, you'll find that use of tobacco and smoking is actually a risk factor for almost every form of cancer that we know about. Of course, unhealthy diet is also part of the risk factors. Things like excessive consumption of alcohol, physical inactivity, you're always seated, you're not having any form of exercise. And that is why Rotary is coming in to remind us that being physically fit is quite important. So looking at this one, it's not only about a fundraiser towards cancer, but also it is of our own health benefit. Of course, there are many other risk factors, like I said. Now you begin to ask yourself, you may be there seated at home and you think you can't get cancer, but you ask yourself, who are those people who get cancer? You may think people who get cancer are actually far from us, but the people who get cancer, everyone is predisposed to cancer. Speaking of men, women, children, everyone literally, all tribes, all occupations, anyone is predisposed towards getting cancer. So you begin to ask yourself, so if everyone is predisposed to getting cancer, why is it that some people get and some people don't? Like I said, these risk factors that we have, most of them are modifiable. So how can you reduce on the dangers of predisposing yourself to some of these cancers? Some of which, one, eat healthy. Learn how to eat healthy, especially things to do with fruits. Eat a lot of fruits, eat a lot of vegetables. The reason why we emphasize this is because most of these fruits and vegetables act as antioxidants. And these antioxidants help reduce on the changes that can easily occur to result into you having things like mutations that are occurring within the body as a result of the stresses that the body undergoes with the changes. So when you eat healthy, that becomes a good thing. Two, regular frequent physical activity. When we say regular and frequent, we don't mean come for the cancer run tomorrow and that's the end of it. We mean make this a practice, make this a habit, make this something that you can do as a personal initiative so that you can always help your body remain physically fit. But also there are certain habits that are modifiable, things to do with behavioral changes, and that is the aspect where the church and the cultural institutions are highly obliged to actually help us in some form of cultural and behavioral reforms, things to do with multiple sexual partners, things to do with, the kind of lifestyle that we live is also directly affecting the rate at which cancer is increasing within the country. Things to do with abstinence, especially for the youth who are still in school. This, like I said, helps reduce on the risk factors of getting these cancers that we are talking about. So like I said, I don't want to over-illiterate and explain things that are far away from us. In summary, all of us are prone to cancer. We ought to fight for one another. And when you see Rotary coming up to try and help fundraise, taking care of a cancer patient is quite expensive. And the challenge is that because it is quite expensive, the diagnostic modalities that we have are quite hard to get. So most of us get to be diagnosed with cancer at later stages. You find someone keeps complaining they have been having ulcers for literally 30 years, and they treat every single now and then. There's no improvement, only for you to check later that the person has advanced stomach cancer. Only for you to check later the person has colorectal cancer. So, like I said, all of us are prone to getting this cancer. But if we work together, if we help support one another, and take care of how we live, how we associate with our day-to-day living, and taking care of doing routine health checkups. I normally see within St. Joseph there is a cancer screening unit for cervical cancer. So it is good to encourage our ladies, our mothers, our sisters to always have these routine checkups so that it helps you, first of all, prevent or know the progression. There are some patients who come into the hospital and they are diagnosed with cancer at a later stage, yet they have actually been going to the hospital, but they have never paid attention to it. So it's good for us to actually pay keen attention to this so that we help reduce on this burden. Because like I said, if you notice, over 21,000 people are dying due to cancer, as demographic survey. So if we can reduce that burden and increase on our lifespan on a day-to-day basis based on what we are doing, by supporting this run, first of all, not only are you helping yourself, because you know what happens is, like I said, managing cancer is expensive. A point may reach where you require palliation. Palliative care is the kind of care that we give to patients who are having terminal illness. When we say terminal illness, it means you are having a higher chance of dying with the disease, and some of which involve blood donation. And you know, many times I always see patients being brought to the hospital and they are in dire need of blood. But you know, there is no blood. Blood is not sold, it's not made. It's something that we always get through donations from people. So I encourage each and every one of us. You never know, the blood you're donating could actually save a life, could save someone you know indirectly. So it would be good as part of the activities that we are having in response to the cancer run, which involve blood donations. It's good for us to actually also participate in these blood donations so that when you come, at least we have a stock of blood to help in palliation, to help in, you know, improving the lifestyle and the living state of the patients who we have that are suspected to have cancer or are living with cancer. And if we all do that, if we collectively join hands and work together, I do think together we are stronger, together we are better. And I applaud Rotary for actually coming up with this initiative. Because personally speaking, if you asked me to pay a cancer bill, it would be expensive. But if we all work together, I think everything is possible with all of us. So I urge everyone there, everyone at home, to come and support this initiative in large numbers. Because you never know, it could be me, it could be you, it could be your sister, who is actually getting this cancer and would need the help that you would have actually provided, but you didn't. So I think that's all I have to say for now. Thank you very much to all those who will turn up in advance. And I want to thank the Rotary organizers for coming up with this initiative one more time, because it is always good for us to take care of one another. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Doctor. And your heart doctor has really laid the challenge very bare. And we are going to hear from Rotarian Peter Bola of how far has Rotary in Uganda gone to respond to one aspect of the challenge that cancer is imposing on the country. Welcome, Rotarian.
Yes, thank you, Rotarian Ben, for this today's press briefing, and then also thank you to the journalists. Yeah, thank you, journalists, for honoring the invitation. As you have heard from Dr. Emmanuel, the challenges that we have on issues of cancer. As Rotarians, since 2012, after we have seen that from the Ministry of Health report indicating the number of challenges on cancer, from 2012 we responded by having Cancer Run. From 2012 up to now, Rotary is having a yearly Cancer Run. From 2012 we raised about 68 million Uganda shillings, and then in 2013 we were able to raise 64 million. In 2013, 94 million. In 2014 we raised 184 million. In 2015 we raised 228 million. In 2016 we raised 300 million. In 2016 we raised 300 million. In 2017 we raised 757 million. In 2018 we raised 708 million. In 2019 we raised 758 million. In 2020 we raised 133 million. In 2021, last year, we were able to raise 375 million Uganda shillings. And this year, we expect this to go up. Why? Because there are a number of people who are having challenges on cancer. And most times, when you are not in the hospital, you think everything is normal. But when you have taken your time and you are able to go to the hospital, then that is when you will be able to see the number of challenges. Now, how did the Rotary raise all these funds? One of them is through the vest, this particular vest which we are wearing. This vest is sold at 25,000. So once you buy a vest of 25,000, you will be able to we get the cost of production, and then the remaining balance is the one that is given and taken to build the Cancer Institute at Zambia Hospital. And then also we have quite a number, like Member of Parliament, everybody in this country were able to participate in cancer contribution. So as Rotarians, for this year, we were really privileged to have the Rotary International President to come to Uganda. Rotary worldwide, it is 1.4 million members, and then quite a number of about 400 clubs all over the world. So for the president to take her time, come from the US to participate in this important event, that means the cause, what the Rotary is doing is quite very, very important. So how can each one of us able to participate in this process? When you make any kind of contribution through buying the t-shirts, you can make contributions for the tomorrow's events where all people countrywide in Uganda, we are going to participate. For Rotary Club of Kitgum, my colleague, Rotarian Doctors, is going to tell us where we are going to begin, at what time we are going to end, and then the routes that we will be able to take. So I call upon everybody in Kitgum here to participate in tomorrow's event. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Peter. Maybe to add on to what Peter has said, is that these monies which are being raised from the proceeds of the sales of the vest going directly towards one, supporting the Rotary Blood Bank at Mengo Hospital. For those of you who are up country here in northern Uganda, every time someone dies of cancer, they are either in Mulago, in Mengo, or some other thing, because the facilities that are needed, as Dr. said, that when it comes to responding medically to managing cancer, it is more expensive. So the Rotary is raising money to support the blood bank at the Mengo Hospital, and also to support the cancer center at the Zambia Hospital. So all these money that are being raised annually from the cancer run are going towards these projects here. But what a doctor is emphasizing is that it is better to prevent. It is better to know earlier. And those are the only answers that we can avoid the high cost of treating cancer. As my colleague said, we are now giving this opportunity to Rotary doctors to explain to us the cancer run tomorrow.
Thank you, Rotarian Ben, the press. Today is a great day for us. As we all are aware, tomorrow we are going to join Rotary International, and as we all know that tomorrow on every year we do cancer run, and in Kitgum district we are going to take off from tomorrow from Mayor Garden. Our takeoff will be from Mayor Garden, and the chief worker is going to be the mayor of Kitgum, that is Honorable Ojara Richard Okwera. So I urge you, all the members, all the Rotary lovers, all the Rotary friends, to come and join us tomorrow. We have two options, routes. One route is 3 kilometers, and another route is 8 kilometers. All these routes, one person is free to choose which route is shorter or easier for him or her to take on. The shorter route, that is 3 kilometers is going to take off, is going to be from Mayor Garden, that is the takeoff from Mayor Garden. Then up from Mayor Garden, we shall go to Christ the King Church. From Christ the King, we shall go to Shell Alcoben. From Shell Alcoben, then we shall move straight to Total Roundabout. Then from Total, then we shall go direct to Tipper Stage. From Tipper Stage, then we shall go to Roundabout of Total near the market. Then we shall again go straight. Then we shall move to DFCU Bank. Then from DFCU, then we shall cross to the World Hotel. From the World, then we shall go to Police Barracks. Police Barracks, then we shall come back to Mighty Fire Office. From Mighty Fire, then we shall go direct to RDC Office. From RDC Office, then we shall go back to Mayor Garden. Those are the routes for the shorter distance. That is 3 kilometer distance. Then the 8 kilometer distance is we are going to also take off from Mayor Garden. Then from the Mayor Garden, then we shall move straight to Christ the King Church. From Christ the King, again to Shell Alcoben. From Shell Alcoben, then we shall again move straight to Total Roundabout, where we went first during. Then we move to the Steeper Stage. From Steeper Stage to the roundabout again, to the market site. Then we go to Ayul. We move to Ayul, that roundabout near that roundabout in Ayul. Then we go direct to St. Joseph Hospital. From St. Joseph, then we go to Corner Mission. From that Corner Mission, then we shall go direct to Dokwo. There is a roundabout to Dokwo. Then we shall go to Techwa, that road going to YY Okot. From that Techwa, then we shall again slope down to the roundabout. Then we move straight again to Total for Honorable Okin PP. Then we slope down to DFCU. From DFCU, we pass DFCU, we don't branch, we pass DFCU, we go to the World Hotel. From the World Hotel, we shall go to the Police Barracks. From the Police Barracks, again, we shall turn back to Mighty Fire. Then from Mighty Fire, then we go to RDC office, then direct to Mayor Garden. Those are the 3 routes. I mean, the 2 routes which we are going to take on tomorrow. I request that anybody is free to take those options, the 3 or the 8. Now, when we come back from all those routes, there's going to be activities. We shall have aerobic dance. And this aerobic dance is going to take us for 30 minutes, very interesting aerobics. And I would not like anyone to miss that aerobics. If you fail maybe to walk, but you should not fail to do the aerobic. As you heard, doctor was saying that the risk of cancer is lack of exercise. And when we do this aerobic and we walk or we run, that one we are trying to reduce the risk of everyone getting cancer. And with that we shall rid cancer out of Uganda, and we shall rid cancer out of Kitgum district. So I request that all of us, all people, all the media to be there. Because for us as Rotary, we are well equipped, we are there, all our teams are there, and we are well mobilized, and we are going to be there by 6:30, we shall be there, and by 7:30, we shall be able to take off. So I want to thank you so much, the media who are here, and I request that each of you should be there so that we can kick cancer out of Uganda. You can kick cancer out of the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Okello Brand, the Rotary President for this area. And I'm requesting all the youths of Kitgum District to come and participate in the cancer. It's going to take place tomorrow, starting at 7:30. And we are going to have a blood donation drive. You know, there's a shortage of blood in Uganda. So the youths are encouraged to come, not only the youths, the adults are also encouraged to come and participate in that activity so that we get blood in our Rotary blood banks and other places. And the next thing is I want to encourage also youths, and not only youths, also adults, to either come and join Rotary or Rotary. And And the benefits of joining Rotary one is you'll be having international friendship. That is one. Free travel opportunities. You'll be having continued learning opportunities. Continued learning opportunities and many other opportunities. So for as Rotary, for us to fellowship at Jaflo Garden Hotel every Friday at 6 p.m. and Rotary Club of Youth and Fellowships here in Boma Hotel. We also start at 6 p.m. and you are free to join us. I think that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Yes.